Hey everybody, this is Tony. This is Josh.
Hi everybody.
And we're doing another BT IndieCast, episode 3, Aftermath Edition. We're still calling it that.
Is this still season 1?
Season 1, episode 3. And I have to admit, full disclosure, I wasn't there for the Beartooth, Day to Remember, and Bad Omen. I know, I had to be out of town. Josh took care of it. But you were totally professional.
Yeah, always.
And everything was right. Right, Josh?
Always.
Everything was fine?
Have you met me?
Okay, so you didn't like jump and go in the pit or anything. You stayed calm.
Hey Tony, about to get into the pit. About to get into it. Here I go.
Well, tell me about it, because this is your world.
This
is your world.
I love it.
I mean, because you have the face and the hair. Not today, but...
I had on today.
Yeah.
Hello, Kentucky friends.
So this, let's break this show down. Yes. First of all, what kind of genre? Emo, metal?
This one was more punk metal. I'd call it punk metal.
Yeah.
This was A Day to Remember is something I listened to in high school. I'm an old 34-year-old man now.
34.
Tony's going on 90. No, I'm kidding, Tony. Just kidding. Day to Remember is fantastic. I actually saw them in Cincinnati. They opened up for Blink-182, so that kind of matches with that kind of vibe. If what the kids are saying now, vibes, whatever. There's so many words now. Anyway, great show. Beartooth wasn't actually the first opener. The first opener was Bad Omens, and then Beartooth, and then A Day to Remember is the headliner. Beartooth, phenomenal. Day to Remember was phenomenal. Bad Omens come out of nowhere and just made it a special time. Like people were like, wow, Bad Omens is amazing, and they are. Check them out. But Beartooth, they have a lead singer by the name of Caleb. The man is all over the place. He's my spirit animal, okay, just so you know. He was all over the stage. If I was a singer, if I was a performer, if I had talent,
right,
that's how I would be. I would be all over the stage. The last time we had someone that actually went out in the stage was Brad Paisley. You remember that show?
Yeah, you mean out in the crowd?
Yes.
Off the stage?
Yes, he actually walked out into the crowd and interacted. Different with Caleb, he was full 150 off the stage, into the crowd, went up, around. He almost took me out with his guitar. I told you this.
That would be so cool.
He literally had to turn his body because I was standing at the wrong place at the wrong time. I was standing outside of the left entrance of the pit.
Yeah.
Come out, flying up. Everyone was like, whoa, it was happening so fast. It really did. It was just like, boom, there it was. But he was already up in the second level. He then realized that he couldn't get back down behind the stage because we used the barricades to block everything off.
And those guys don't think about that ahead of time.
They don't.
It's an impromptu kind of, it wasn't like they earlier that day practiced it or told people or anything. I mean,
he was literally a chicken in a coop, is what he then realized. He was like, oh, put it in reverse, Terry, literally. Is what he decided to do. And he literally turned around, come flying back down, and went right back up to the stage.
Hey, that's cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, and you were right in the middle of it. Man, I wish we had some footage of that. That would be awesome. Especially the part where he hovered over your guitar.
Yeah. I really thought I was going to get knocked out at one point. He was fast, too. The man flew. He was like a 747 taking off.
So the crowd, super good crowd.
Yeah, great crowd. Great support for that show. No complaints.
Was that a weekday show?
That was a weekday show. That's one of those things. Wednesday night show. Some people have work and don't want to get out. But great crowd, great support for that one. So we were excited.
The production on it was super flashy, video walls, tons of lighting. This, just to get a little bit geeky technical, this tour is a little bit strange because they tour with their video wall and all the lighting on the stage that shoots up at them this way. That's what they bring, and then we have to provide everything else. So it's kind of a weird thing to so what do you have and what do you need and that kind of thing. And people ask, why do bands bring, why don't they bring everything? It's just too expensive. Doesn't make sense to bring all that kind of stuff. So they show up, they want their look to always be consistent.
They do.
So their ground lighting, we call it, all the lighting on the ground, and then their video wall, every show, every arena looks exactly the same.
They had some killer haze. Of course, we provided beach balls. It was a beach ball time. Beach balls went out. I mean, there was a little. At one point, a T-shirt cannon came out. Like it was just insane as much as they put into it. I mean, A Day to Remember puts on a cool show. I mean, they're not like Alice Cooper with a full-fledged production.
Right, yeah. It isn't like theatrical.
No, but it's interactive.
High energy, interactive.
Yes.
Yeah, and the guys said that their crew was great to work with.
100%.
Everything was pretty seamless, in and out.
Chill.
Yeah. Everything was pretty cool. We got to use local production, semi-local production, so that's always good.
Yes.
And we had, like my company had like 20, 25 people or so working, so it was a good day to have, everybody's working. Arena sold a lot of tickets. It was just a good day for a Wednesday.
It was a good Wednesday. Turned out being great. Like I said, awesome show. I was out there listening to a couple of songs that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I know. Come through, I have to hear at least one or two.
For sure. When it's your band. When it's a band you really like.
Yeah. So we like that. And then, of course, the same week, but on Sunday, we had the legendary Rock and Roll Hall of Famers.
I'm growing this in his honor.
The Beards.
ZZ Top. I mean, ZZ Top, what can you say, really? It's a classic. They've sold like 100 million records, and maybe not 100 million.
I'd say a lot.
It's a lot.
I'd say you're flirting
They've
with
been around
correct
since
number.
the 69, 70.
Yeah.
So
Sharp-dressed men.
Yeah. And that's a whole different crowd, obviously.
It is. Oh, yeah. It went from daylight to dark.
But another big crowd. And ZZ Top, at this point, they just do all the songs everybody wants to hear. Right? I mean, don't bring out a new song.
No.
Just do all the ones. Tush, Just Left Chicago, LaGrange, Sharp Dressed Man.
You gotta go LaGrange in there. You gotta go Sharp. You gotta do all the iconic songs, if you will.
And Dusty isn't with them anymore, so they have the replacement bass player, who was their guitar tech for over a decade.
He's been with them since the beginning.
Yeah, and I cannot think of his name. His last name is Francis.
Is it Frank? It's not Frank.
No, Frank's the drummer.
Frank Beard. Frank Beard is without the beard.
Yeah.
That's the drummer.
Yeah.
And then it's Frank. What is it? Elwood Francis.
I mean, which is the best name in the world.
Of course.
Elwood Francis is his name. Bass playing is his game.
Let's just say this. Hand selected by Dusty.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, not many people know, but Dusty said, if something happens to me, I want Elwood to take over.
And he did.
And I actually worked the very first show that he played, and it was crazy. And
he's got a killer beard too, by the way.
Hair and beard,
Yes.
everything is awesome. So, and you know what's cool? ZZ Top fans didn't ostracize him. They welcomed him. They were bringing signs, Elwood, you're the man, that kind of thing.
He kills it too. He rocks it pretty good.
Yeah. So that was a classic show. I wasn't, God, I hate to say this. I was out of town. I wasn't there for that one. But I have seen and worked with ZZ Top a bunch. But
Tony's out finding elk.
Yeah, I had to go elk fishing. So
yeah, elk fishing. That's what we're calling it. He went looking for the abominable snowman.
Man, ZZ Top, though. I'm just moving on. The beards, the songs, everything was cool. And another...
history.
Yeah. And it's so cool. Those guys are in their 70s.
That will probably be, and I'm not jinxing them. I'm knocking on all the wood in this area here. But, I mean, it'll probably be one of the last times you see them through, our arena.
Yeah.
They're getting older. We don't know when they're going to retire.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Hall of Famers. They don't have to do anything else if they don't want to.
I don't think those guys retire. I think they want to play until they just...
It's in their blood.
Yeah. I mean, what else can they do? He's been a rock star. Billy Gibbons has been a rock star for 40 years, 50 years.
You sure can't go work at Lowe's after that.
He doesn't need the money either. I think it's all he knows how to do, just like the Stones and all those guys. That's all they know how to do.
That's all they know how to do. They're performers.
And luckily they came to Pikeville, and the arena brought them in, and it was super cool to hear. I didn't hear it, but to have those songs played in Pikeville, I mean, that's pretty cool.
I'll tell you a funny story. Since we're all about funny stories here. At the end of the night, it was about midnight. I was coming up the elevator with our head of security, Tommy Kidd. No plug for him. He doesn't need one. But going up the elevator, and as soon as I come off, who was in front of me the beard himself, Billy Gibbons. He was right in front with his lovely. He actually had. What was it? Not sweatpants. But
yoga, like those weird yoga.
They look like pajamas.
Yeah, well, that's what he always wears. They look like some kind of weird Hindu
some weird
yoga.
pajamas.
Yeah, and is he that? I mean, you don't think about it. You see him on stage. He is the tiniest man.
He's little.
He is He's not this wide. I mean, he is so tiny.
He's petite.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's not that tall.
No.
Which kind of threw me off.
No, he is small.
Because I looked over his head.
Yeah, and he wears those pajama looking things, tucked in cowboy boots.
I'm like, who are you? And I was like, oh, okay. How are you? You know, I didn't know what to say at first. He was like, great, man. How are you? You know, got that cool little raspy voice.
He's got the voice.
Yeah. Come on the elevator, and I was like, well, this was interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I've got a Billy Gibbons story.
Tell me.
But this one goes back. When was the first time they were at the expo? 10 years ago?
2006.
Oh my gosh. Okay. 2006. One of the very first shows that I was actually working. So it was before the show, and I was getting ready to go into catering, get some food, and I go into catering. I go into the small catering room.
Yeah.
And I walk in, and it's just Billy Gibbons sitting there eating. And I open the door with my plate of food, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you. And he was like, it's okay. Come on in and eat. And I was like, no, I couldn't. He was like, come on in here and sit down. It's no big deal. And so what do you do? So I went and sat down. I didn't sit at his table, and he didn't say sit at my table. But I came in and set my plate down and was like, this is the most awkward thing in the world. But I didn't want to tell him no. Looking back, maybe the third time, I should have one more time said, I can't, no, it's no big deal. But then, so yeah, I sat and I ate at one table. He sat at another table and ate, and we never spoke. And then I got up and left, and I was like, good show, have a good show, or whatever. And yeah, so that was it. It wasn't a cool story. I just said it was a story.
It was a story. The one time that Tony didn't know what to say.
Yeah, I for sure didn't, because I was like, we have someone coming in.
Someone was about to come in on us. I'm scared.
Anyway, that's my Billy Gibbons story. You had a Billy Gibbons story. Day to Remember, midweek show, super awesome, great stuff. ZZ Top, a classic. So we're covering 2 aftermaths, 2 survival stories.
Since you were after elk.
Yeah, I was going elk fishing. So, all right. So here we go. Episode 3, Aftermath. Thanks for watching. Blackberry Smoke, Jamie Johnson, coming up next. See you guys then.
Spay and neuter your pets.
Look at that big turd head. Strutting with his armadillo boots on. Armadillo boots.